All right. Thank you, Lindsay, for that. Okay. Obviously, everyone knows the rules here. We're here to share information, share ideas, and get input from you guys. I know it's been a long 4 months dealing with this COVID pandemic, but it's been in everyone's best interest to stay home, practice good hygiene, and so we can see you guys again. Obviously our numbers have been on the rise, but they're starting to feel like they're plateauing a little bit. So the city releases COVID updates every single day. Okay, so you can go to the city's website, and if you're interested in something, you can go ahead and go to the city's website and see all of those updates and those press releases. Okay, all right.
I do have an update. Today they held a press conference, so I just want to kind of share what was said at that press conference. It was earlier today at 3 o'clock, in case anybody missed it. Basically, it was letting everybody know that our COVID numbers have been going down, so that's a good thing. But that doesn't mean we can stop wearing our mask or stop social distancing. So please keep that in mind, because Labor Day is coming up on Monday. So please do not have family gatherings or go to big outdoor gatherings. They're still prohibited. And please wear your mask everywhere you go. We are seeing good news. Our ventilator numbers, our ICU numbers are down, but that doesn't mean we need to stop where we're at. We need to keep doing all the precautions that we can to make sure those numbers don't go back up. They're anticipating the numbers going back up because of Labor Day. So don't be a part of the problem, be a part of the solution, and meet with your family the way we're meeting here. Just so you know, Labor Day is Monday. It is a holiday, but if you would like to get tested, they're encouraging everybody to get tested. The state-run testing sites will be open on Labor Day. So that's the one at the SAC and the one on the west side. That also includes the one at Nations Tobin Park, which is the closest one to all of you. It's open from 9 to 4, 7 days a week, including Labor Day. So if you need to get tested, that's your best bet to go. You do not need an appointment. You can just drive up. They're not accepting walk-ups right now, but they are accepting drive-ups. So that's at Nations Tobin. If you need to walk up, you do have to go to the SAC, and you can catch the bus to do that. What else was I going to say about that? Oh, yes. So Labor Day is coming up. So our office will be closed on Monday, which is Labor Day. So if you call, email, text, we will not respond to you till Tuesday. Just so you know, just throwing that out there. We are closed. The city as a whole is closed on Monday for Labor Day. So I think that's all my announcements.
Okay, well, good. That's a good update. And like I said, the best way to keep up with the COVID information is to go to the city's website, and you can see all of those updates, posted 24 hours a day. So with that being said,
it's epstrong.org. So it's separate from the city website. So we have a website specific for COVID. So epstrong.org is where you can find all the COVID information.
epstrong.
Sorry.
No, that's fine. That's fine. Okay, so we just want to give you guys as much information as we possibly can, so you guys can, do what you need to do. If you know someone that's out there that's feeling a little under the weather, tell them to go get a COVID test. It costs nothing. It's free. And, it's just a little reassurance there, okay? So although our numbers are better than they were a week ago, we're still in a pandemic situation, okay? With that being said, anyone got any announcements or anything that they'd like to make? Last week we didn't start with the announcements. We did at the end, but we're going to start with any announcements or that you guys might have about any upcoming events.
If you're on the phone, *6 to unmute yourself.
Okay, well, if you do find that you want to put something out, just chime in, let us know, and we'll get back with you. Okay. Obviously, y'all know that we had a lot going on this week. We're very I'm very proud that the city did not raise property taxes. But we're still getting folks that believe that the city raised their taxes, and we're hearing all kinds of buzz out there. So, make sure you let your family, your friends know that the city did not raise your taxes at all this year. So, we can cut through some of the misinformation or disinformation that's out there. Okay. Also, this week, we had a lot of important things on the agenda, but but I think that we did a really good job of making sure that everyone had a voice and had an opportunity to call in and talk on any issues that we may have. So the big issue for District 4 this week was we directed the city manager to give us an update at the next council meeting on the NAP land. Okay, obviously, we purchased 366 acres of open space in the northeast to prevent any building on the Franklin Mountain portion on our side, the Big Bend, the Zion area. You guys are familiar with that. It's an older, more established neighborhood that's close to Fort Bliss. Well, by purchasing that land, we went ahead and prevented the development of houses on the side of the mountain. So the folks that live up in that area, they were very pleased. They are pleased, and we'll get you guys another update. Hopefully by the next meeting that we have here, which will be, we're doing it every other week. So within the next 2 weeks, I'll be able to give you guys an update on exactly where we are with putting that conservation easement on that property, so it will never be developed on. So when we put the conservation easement into it, it's going to remain open space into perpetuity. Okay, in other words, forever, and that's a good thing for the Northeast. Okay.
That reminds me, one announcement I forgot to make. Just so you all know, council voted this last Tuesday. For as long as I can remember, council has begun at 9 a.m. Council from now on will be beginning at 3:30 p.m. So if anybody hasn't been able to listen into council meetings because you're at work or anything like that, they now begin at 3:30 p.m. and call to the public will be at 6 p.m. instead of noon. So they are still all virtual, so don't go downtown to City Hall, but you will be able to be a part and be more interactive in that meeting with them starting later in the day. So 3:30 start time from now on until our emergency order goes away, which probably won't be anytime soon. So if anybody would like to pay more attention to City Council, now you can, because it doesn't start until 3:30. Okay, I think that's my only other update.
Yeah, but
everybody's joining now.
That's a biggie, guys. Understanding that families are homeschooling now, and parents with kids, they might want to participate in these meetings, but they can't because obviously if you're homeschooling, you are the teacher, right? so we figured let's go ahead and give this a shot, and I think it's going to work out for the better. Because more folks are going to have an opportunity to tune in. All the kids stuff should be done by 3:30, and families can actually tune in and participate in the city council. So that's a big deal. Okay. What else, Lindsay? You got any updates for them?
Just a reminder. Well, with that City Council, you can watch City Council live on City TV. You can watch it on YouTube. You can watch it on Facebook. You can watch it off the city website. So you have several different options on where to view City Council if you wish to watch it. If you want to participate in terms of commenting on an item or speaking during public comment, you do have to sign up with the city clerk. Same as always, except for you can't sign up in person now. You just call or email them and let them know, I would like to speak on item whatever, or for call to the public. There is a difference between call to the public and public comment. Public comment is for specific items on the agenda. Like, for instance, if you wanted to speak on the NAPLAND item, you would say, I would like to speak on item, for instance, 24.1. If you would just like to speak about something that's not on the agenda at all, something out of the blue that you just feel council should know, that's call to the public, and that's going to be happening at 6 p.m. And you can do the same, call city clerk and ask them to sign up for that. Their number is 915-212-1212. So it's a pretty easy number. Start with 2 and just adding 12 until you get to the end. I think that's it. And then just a reminder to do your census.
Yeah, please do their census, guys. We just had that conversation last week, and 2 days later, I had a census taker knock on my door.
Me
Uh,
too. That's creepy.
yeah, it was crazy. I was like, okay, we talk about something in the community meeting, and next thing you know, it's happening to me. So let's talk about a lot of money, millions, lottery winnings. So let's talk about that. So that'll happen in 2 days for me. Okay. All right, cool. Angela, you got anything that's hot? You want to introduce yourself to the folks that don't know you?
No, I don't have anything. Lindsay's covered everything. I'm Angela. I am Lindsay's assistant, and I'm the one you call anytime you do call.
She's awesome. Be nice to her.
Everyone in the Northeast is nice, don't you know? All right.
Not
But, but,
everyone.
but oh Lord, is that you, Willie?
No, this is Mr. Seeley.
Oh, hi,
Mr.
Mr.
Seeley.
Seeley.
Oh, how are you doing, sir?
I'm doing fine. This is my first time that I've had a chance to get in on one of your meetings.
Well,
And
welcome.
Welcome, welcome, welcome.
I get two questions. That area you was talking about northeast, is that behind the Border Patrol there, up the hill from the Border Patrol?
For the Napland.
The Napland actually runs a pretty good long distance of the range, but yeah, it's in that immediate area. Yes, if you go up Zion, you'll be able to look once you get to the base there, to the peak. That all that land that's directly behind there is what we're talking about, Napland.
Okay, that used to be our rifle range when I was in basic training.
Really?
Yeah, in 52.
Wow.
So,
Wow. I'm
so
glad
that's
you're still kicking with us.
supposedly why they wouldn't want anybody to build up there. There's still munitions in the ground.
Absolutely.
That's a good
Yeah.
point. That's a good point.
Yeah.
That's a great point. Thank you. And your
Okay,
second question?
yes, one thing I would like to see on this street at Dearborn is an officer, policeman, making his quota on these speeders. This street is from Alcan to not Dyer, but the other street, McCombs, is a thoroughfare for hot rodders. And there's way too many cars on the street just east of Alcan that these people think it's their freeway. And
Okay.
I'd sure would like to see a little police presence.
Okay. We can check. We can work on that.
Okay, and there's some RVs parked on the side of the road, so that makes it harder still to be safe. Fortunately, I guess we've been lucky so far.
On they're parking
really,
RVs on Dearborn.
yes, sir.
Okay.
That's the only thing I would like to see this time. I'm already working on a junkyard on Kensington. Is it? I keep mixing up. I'm getting too old for this stuff. Anyway, the one street to the south, I've already got a complaint in on junkyard down there.
Okay. Well, we appreciate that. I remind everyone at every meeting we ever hold is that you guys are our eyes and ears out there in the community, and we truly appreciate the input that you guys are giving us because we can't be in all places at all times. So keep that information coming because it helps us keep our community safe and help us keep our community clean. Okay, so thank you, Mr. Seeley.
Yeah, bring up one other thing on that street. In Edinburgh is the name of the street. I wrote down, I got 3 vehicles with expired tags. One of them's on the street, and they're presently looking at about that. But there's about 5 houses right in a row, right next to each other, that do not have house numbers. I was under the impression years ago that everybody was supposed to have house numbers. on the curb or on the house or both. And that's another thing that's really lacking on that street. That's all I have, and I thank you.
Okay. So you're saying there's no address numbers on the house or at the curb?
Correct.
Okay. I think we already got this complaint to our office, so we're working on it, getting those addresses and taking care of the parked vehicles and everything.
Okay.
Okay.
All right. Thank you, sir. Any other comments out there?
I saw that Kim raised her hand. I don't know if she wanted to say something.
Head Kim.
Hey guys, I wanted to piggyback on his speeding. The McCombs, has become so popular where I live, right there at the park with the hospital. Literally every night, you guys, they will leave like the Chaparral 54. And either way, they literally, because there's not a stoplight until you hit like further down. The first stoplight is Sean Haggerty at McCombs. And they will literally go, it sounds close to 100 miles an hour. They race. And this is every night. Every night. Now, granted, we hear the police and fire running. That's not a big deal. But this is suddenly picked up. And we're talking Dodge Challengers and the little, souped up cars and the crotch rockets. And they take off right there by the McDonald's and the Speedway right there. Or they come out of the hospital and all our little restaurants right there. And they hightail it. And I know we did a survey because that's TxDOT area right there. It cuts off and it's like state money and then city right there. So you could stand out there every night and see at least 7 cars racing each other and they turn around and then come back. And just sitting outside, I hear them every night. And, I'm a little bit back away from the street.
Approximately what time? Approximately.
Sam, it starts like dark. So, 8:30, 9 o'clock. And then by 10, you just hear it going nonstop. And I don't know if, it's a group, but someone is going to, and, because we have a lot of cross streets to get to McCombs and Rick Husband, and then all those other feeder streets like Devontree and Chippendale and all of those, and we have some lights out as well down the median on McCombs, starting right there at Rick Husband. So I don't know the numbers because I can't park on the side of the road and go get the numbers off the lights. And then obviously there's been 2 that have been hit in an accident where they are completely down and it has orange cones hanging on the edge of the lights.
Okay.
So those 2 have been down for months.
Months.
Yes, sir.
Okay.
And so I piggyback on his concern on the speeding. So it must continue down further where he is, and it just goes. And it's scary because people are walking across the street to come to the park, and they're going to take out a kid or a car or something. And so I think we need another set of street lights to slow those because it's just like a major thoroughfare.
I don't think the street lights or the stoplights help them a bit.
You don't think so? Well, we don't even have any. So you have street lights, but from where I am, we don't even, with the first street light is Sean Haggerty. And so we don't even have any street lights. We just have the city lights in the medians. So we don't even have a stop sign.
Yeah, but what I'm saying is they just ignore everything.
I know.
And I hear them down at my end, close to my street.
Yeah. And you're worried too. Exactly. I'm more worried about someone rear-ending somebody because a lot of people make that U-turn, Sam, to go to like the Taco Bell, and now we have the Wingstop open right there at that 54 crossing. Yes. And those U-turns, there's been a lot of near misses of people confusing if you're making a U-turn or you're coming into our neighborhood or the park. There's been literally near misses.
Okay. We'll take a look at that.
Awesome. Thank you. Hey, also, Sam, can I tap in about the Joey Barraza phase 2?
Yes.
Okay. I'm representing with Tammy, Joey's mom. We have actually put in an open records report regarding the whole park. We did receive the entire open records report from the Texas Parks and Wildlife regarding the grant. And the grant is $2 million for the dog park. So we are reading all of that, wondering why that wasn't started since that grant money was already handed to the city. We're still waiting for all the open records from the city side. And the reason we went back and did the open records is there is that land, and I know Lindsay's heard it from quite a few of our neighbors, that we can't get the city to claim, but yet they have it out in the plan for the design of phase 2 that the city says, I'm taking it. And one is the easement that goes against the current part of the park on Redstone Rim. Just a few weeks ago, one of the neighbors finally told the city, and I guess Streets came out and used a front loader and cleaned off all the weeds and trash and stuff. Because as an HOA, if the city is saying that they claim that, we can't use our HOA dues to maintain it.
That's right.
So we need to get that in writing, that is claim that the city is claiming that, and that they will continue to take care of that like they do the park right across the wrought iron fence.
So I have an answer to both of those questions. The first one for the grant, I spoke with Tammy very briefly, maybe a week or two ago. For the grant, we don't have the money yet. Texas Parks and Wildlife said that we could have the grant, but they needed to figure out what it was going to be used for exactly. You know, we can't just say dog park. They need to know $12 went to these 4 rocks. So they were sitting down at the end of August. I don't have a feedback from that yet, but they sat down at the end of August.
So this Texas recently just happened?
Yes. Texas Parks and Wildlife with our Parks Department to figure out how that was going to work. That project is deferred because of COVID. And so we were asking how that was going to happen with the grant, but we're still good. The money is still there for when that project can move forward.
Okay. Awesome.
In terms of that little piece of land, I'm working on that, getting that in writing for you all. I was talking to Margaret the other day about that. So I'll get that in writing for you all. They're just doing some things in our real estate department that make it all the legalese behind it.
I know, right. And then the other part, I'm sorry, Sam, is the lot that in the phase 2, like design number 1 was for a parking lot at Whitehall and Redstone Mesa. So that was on like the, artist drawing on like, design A. And then design B, when you go and look at the plans now, the parking lot has been removed off of the plans now. But it is the city going to claim that? Because we can't get it cleaned up by the city. And like I said, if the city is claiming it, even though they're not going to do the parking lot right now, we need to have that maintained, because right now we've got vector growing in it and trash, and it's lowering our property. And the city rep from Streets and Parks says, well, we're not coming out there. And so we've got to get it in writing that the city is going to take responsibility of that. It's actually 4 lots. And it was, remember, we were discussing like the cameras for the parking lot going towards, because it was going to be the walk to the dog park. And then they pulled that off of the last drawing that I've seen. But is the city of El Paso going to claim that land? Because it, if they're not, then we need that informal writing so that our HOA can take charge of that, since I'm on the board, because there's many regulations and laws that we have to follow. and we've just been getting the run around. And I know it's COVID, you know, but we've got a few, I know we've had snakes in there, and we've got mice, and, you know, people can't walk on the sidewalk.
So
Makes sense.
the
Yeah.
issue with that one is what happened when your all's housing development was developed. Those 4 lots were never sold, and so there was never
know.
So when that land was annexed to the city from the developer, it was not technically annexed because the property doesn't belong to anybody. The developer has given up their rights because they don't own the developing rights anymore, but now it's just kind of there, and so nobody really knows. So we're working on that one as well, and I'll have an answer for that one as well.
Can we at least get it cleaned up right now?
Yeah. I'll go
Because I'm afraid to walk like right by it, because it's got those huge stickers, and then, you know, mice and spiders and other stuff have claimed. And also, Sam, about late May, we had a racial issue in our neighborhood that I just wanted to bring in attention. 2 neighbors were targeted with racial slurs found in their front yard the next morning.
Wow.
We got the police department in, and the HOA was notified. I went out there and talked to the police officers and the 2 neighbors who were involved, and they were targeted, and the FBI actually has become involved too.
Good. I'm glad it was reported, and I appreciate you sharing that with us, because it goes back to, you know, making sure that our community is safe for everyone, you know.
Yeah. And they wondered what the HOA could do, and obviously we're not a law, you know, enforcement. So we did have the police kind of undercover checking out, making sure, but so far so good, no more. But it was very disheartening. They were pieces of letters saying some horrible things, and they were strewn throughout their rocks, and it was 2 next doors. So the people were targeted directly because of their race.
Okay. You know, we got a lot of that going on in the world right now.
I know.
But, you know, it's sad, but we need to be made aware of any other incidences such as that. You know, we can go ahead and maybe get some stepped up patrols or something out there.
Yeah, we definitely need the patrols coming through the Redstone Rim to Whitehall that goes to that comes in from Rick Husband, from where the park entrance and hospital entrances, coming into our neighborhood, going around Redstone Rim. We seem to have some neighbors that are renters and owners that have like the Darts Chargers and the souped up Mustangs, and they just decide that they want to make a raceway of Redstone Rim. And I've almost been hit backing out of my own driveway, and they run the stop signs. So with everybody out, you know, due to COVID, we're walking a lot, we're biking a lot right there, because we've got the park open now. And there's been almost a hit. A dog got loose, and, you know, the amount of slowing down when you're speeding up. I understand you have a nice fast vehicle, but take it out on 54 and let it loose. Not on, you know. So if we could get even an undercover cop, it seems to be at night.
We'll work on it. That's why I asked earlier, you know, the approximate times.
But after 2000.
Okay, let us go ahead and get to work on that.
Thank you guys so much.
You're welcome. Well,
that's it.
Thank you. And we've taken note. But Lindsay, if our guest speaker has arrived, can you go ahead and introduce Yvette Hernandez?
Yes, Yvette's here. Sorry, she was here earlier. I just didn't see her, so I apologize. She's been here. So we're gonna go ahead and get started with her presentation, just so we can be respectful of everyone's time. She has a lot of great information. Yvette is from the Capital Improvement Department, and she, in my opinion, knows everything. No, I'm just kidding.
She does.
So we'll go ahead and hand it over to Yvette. I think we'll let her get through her presentation, and then we'll do questions at the end. Or I don't know if Yvette, you want to do them in between. It's up to you. But yeah, we'll go with Yvette.
Guys, there's a lot of great stuff happening, so I encourage you to take your notes. And like I said, Ms. Hernandez, she's got her stuff together, and she's been working with us ever since day one of me coming into city, helping me get projects, identified, funded, grant, talks to me about grants all the time. So this is one very, very special person to the city, and she's very committed to the cause. So if you see a lot of big projects happening in the Northeast, I guarantee you she had something to do with it. Thank you, Yvette.
Thank you. Thank you very much for that introduction. It's a tall order to fill. I also want to thank everyone that is called in or either tuned in. It's always very encouraging to see when the constituents participate and are active within their neighborhoods and communities. So to everyone that is attending, thank you so much. Before I start the presentation, just wanted to give you a quick snapshot into my department. So we're within the Capital Improvement Department. We are the grant funded program. So I am the director for anything that has federal money. So when we start talking about a federalized project, typically within my portfolio that deals with the Federal Highway Administration, and as you notice, the beautiful purple line in Dyer, which is the BRIO, also FTA. So we also have transit funding. My day-to-day life deals with communication with TxDOT, as they are our go-between with these agencies. So we work at everything that is federally funded, and just to kind of break it down simplistically of what that means is my department is our goal in addition to regional connectivity, mobility, looking at our transportation network. We want to ensure that we are pushing those city dollars as far as we can. So when it's federalized, generally it's a 20%, 80% breakdown. And that 80%, that majority of funding, that's coming from either the Federal Highway or FTA. So when you're getting a 100% project and it's been federalized, generally what that means is only 20% of city dollars went to fund those projects. So just wanted to give you a background of my department before I went into the presentation. Want to give you an overview of exactly what we're doing within the city of El Paso. And then also, as Representative Morgan made mention, focus in on some of the projects specifically to District 4. So I'm going to share my screen, make sure that everyone can see that okay?
Yes.
Excellent. Okay. So I want to go over, since we are federally funded, some of the grants and applications, what that means on how we leverage our city funds, updates on our projects, completed projects, and looking ahead to the future. So one of the things that I noticed once I came on board to the federally funded program is we weren't always sure what the left and right hand were doing. So I wanted to ensure that we had a grant writing firm to really consolidate all our efforts. So as effective of May, we brought on Merchant McIntyre to work for the city of El Paso. We didn't want to do this in a silo. We wanted to make sure that the entire city departments were involved within the process. So we met with our grant administrators, streets and maintenance, economic development, our performance office, community development, police, and also here recently airport. So the key goals of having a grant writing is we want to make sure that we're creating building blocks. You know, it doesn't make sense for the city of El Paso to become ambulance chasers. I mean, one of the things that we have spoken about and we make sure is that everything has to tie back to our strategic plan. And so we wanted to do that as we go forward and request and look for grant opportunities. How does it tie back to our strategic plan, and how is it something that we can build off of? So we wanted to create a future for vision and planning. And so just the list that you see below are all the different organizations that we want to make sure that we check and see, does the Department of Commerce or Transportation, DOT, we definitely submit grants to them, FEMA, all these different departments, are we making sure that we're capturing any opportunity for additional funding that we can supplement our revenues, our tax resources, and really take advantage of the offerings that are out there. So this year we submitted 3 grant applications. We're hoping favorable that we hear back in September from the Department of Transportation. So we submitted to the MCA. It's a park and ride initiative to look at a parking garage within that area. Piedras reconstruction, really capturing the beauty at 5 Points and creating a busy street into a complete street, a smart street, what you would find in a boulevard, and really giving a chance to our local businesses to bring in that pedestrian walkability component and to really drive the traffic through there in regards to, let's see what's there and not how do we get quickly onto I-10. And then the last one is a planning grant, and that's there's different schools of thought out there when we talk about the, I'm excited about it, but the upper deck. And one of the things that I've really, when I've tried to speak to the opponents of the upper deck is really getting their feedback and saying, you know what, I get it. There's different things that we have to look at. Why don't we use federal monies to fund an additional feasibility plan and a planning study? So that was the 3rd application that we submitted. I apologize. I just realized as I was going through this presentation, I missed just recently here on Monday, we submitted another grant to DOT, and it's for ATC MTD. Acronyms are aplenty when you're dealing with the federal government. And we want to really build off of what International Bridges, what that department has done. They secured $32 million with a rider bill, and that brings intelligent infrastructure to BOTA, Bridges of the America, and the Isleta Zaragoza Bridge. So you're looking at cameras, you're looking at sensors. All of this intelligent technology helps us to mitigate some of the backups, really work on congestion. If there's an event that's going on at BOTA, does it make sense to, push the drivers out a little bit to Isleta? So the Stanton Bridge does not currently have the amount of technology that we're putting in at BOTA and Isleta. So we submitted for a grant to fund that bridge. We'll probably hear back later at the end of this year. So what does it mean when I say I'm leveraging city funds? There is a dark history to our federally funded program. I don't know if many of you remember, maybe about 4 or 5 years ago, it was all over the media, $19.2 million. The city's going to lose it. The city's not going to get reimbursed. The number was wrong. I think the media said about 20 million and it was 19.2. And it was a good awakening. TxDOT was under scrutiny of really looking at what was happening with the reimbursement program. So when you get reimbursed, all your I's are dotted, your T's are crossed. You need to make sure if we pour 20 cubic yards of concrete, that's recorded, it's documented, we tell Federal Highway, and then they reimburse us for that amount. So that's how my department kind of came into play, is we now have 12 individuals that are dedicated to the federal process. And thankfully, we got all the documentation up to par, about 4 years ago, and we did get those $19.2 million back. But my promise to you is we won't hear those types of headlines again. And proof is in the pudding. So if you see here on the screen, we have, for the fiscal year, look at our expenditures. We're at 9 million and reimbursements were 4. So we were going through a couple of changes. We had lost one of our record keepers. And so we were a little bit lagged behind. I came on board, we were able to fill also that position, and we made up for it. We spent 7 million, and look at our reimbursements. We're at 13, so we're balancing out what happened the year before. Fiscal year 20, the same thing. We're right on par with our expenditures and our reimbursements. So what you used to see historically, there was a delay of the reimbursement of getting our money. So what that means, to put it simplistically, the general fund, when we pay that 80%, we're paying the contractors from our general fund. So what that means for the reimbursement is TxDOT submits to Federal Highway, and Federal Highway puts that money back into our coffers. So that's what it means when we say we reimburse. We have to actually front that money first. I need to make sure all my documentation is in order so that I get that reimbursement. So what historically used to take 3-6 months, we're looking at only like a 30-day delay, which is a really great turnaround with our program. So for updates, active projects, I know that you've heard from the city engineer due to COVID, we've been very financially constrained. Some of our projects were shelved. We want to make sure that we spend down the amount of monies that we have. With my portfolio, since we're only investing 20% of the city's funds, the city engineer made a promise to our department that we are able to continue business as usual. So we're taking advantage of all the federal monies that have been promised to the city of El Paso. So if you'll see with our list, about half of them are in construction or soon to begin construction. And we have actively $132 million worth of projects that are ongoing. The projects that are in construction, the street, median, and parkway landscaping, this is a really important component. I know that you've heard the city manager speak about the aesthetics and taking pride in El Paso. And so not only did we provide illumination on some of the corridors, but we also beautify the city of El Paso with landscaping on Airway, George Dieter, Montwood, Sean Haggerty, Red Road, and Wrestler. So of the 6 corridors, 4 have been completed. Amisad, this is a neighborhood that needed, ADA improvements. And so this is also a project that is funded by the federal government. So we did improvements within, one of the older neighborhoods in the city of El Paso to make sure that those with disabilities can walk within this neighborhood. So it included pedestrian ramps and crosswalks. Zaragoza, port of entry, we're doing, if you see on the lower right-hand corner, the limits are Pan American Drive, and then you see Wind Road. So that red part is we're connecting the blue Wind Road existing Rio del Norte. So the reason why this is really exciting, this is a very significant project when you look in terms of mobility, when you look in terms of congestion. I don't know if some of you, you go out, I sometimes don't, cross out to the north, past the Northeast. I am from District 4. So I don't always experience some of the delays on 375, but if you talk to some of your fellow citizens, there are peak hours when the freight is trying to cross back into Juarez, and you'll see a long 375. I mean, poor personal vehicles that are trying to get home and that's their exit, they have to wait for that freight to clear out and cross. So what we've done, if you see the red and yellow, we've provided additional queuing so that we can get those commercial vehicles, they're important to our economic development, but we want to get them off of the frontage roads, have them queue, and allow our personal vehicles to not be inconvenienced by the crossings that we experience at our ports. So that's a really exciting project that we're able to participate in. The last of the Brio systems, so we have 4. Mesa was the first to come online. Alameda and Dyer are the 3, and Montana is the last of our Brio rapid system. So this takes us to a Far East Transit Center that's to be developed. We're hoping to start construction probably by the end of this month. Montana has already started. We've begun work on 3 of the stations, soon to start on the park and rides, and this continues that connectivity from the Far East side into our downtown of El Paso. And then the PDN roundabout, hopefully many of you have seen, prior to COVID, but when we were out and about, the work that the city of El Paso did on El Paso Street, Paseo de Luces. It's a great amenity, really beautiful what they did there on El Paso, and we're extending that aesthetic value, but also safety. So roundabouts, although when they're first installed, there's a couple of little benders, but because it's a roundabout, you won't have that T-bone that usually you get at intersections. Also, if anybody has ever crossed at this port of entry, there is really no defined way to get from the border to either continuing on to El Paso or 6th Street. So we put this roundabout in to really give the drivers the safety of a defined road. And if you see on the bottom, really excited, I think this is going to be an Instagrammable photo for El Paso, is we have a bienvenidos al El Paso. Sorry, I was thinking in both languages. And so you see the Star of El Paso welcoming the visitors that we have from across the border. Completed projects for this year. We finished the University Avenue. This is a really great project to tie in to what the university is doing and provide safe bike lanes for the students that attend UTEP. In addition, since we're able to leverage our funds, we invested some of our city funds to do reconstruction of the street. So all the amenities, to include the landscaping, the sidewalk, and the bike facilities, those were covered with federal funds, and the city took advantage. We were in the area. Let's put an investment in our infrastructure and take advantage and reconstruct the street. So we've completed 4 of the corridors with the street and median and university. So a total of 5 projects for our fiscal year. And as you see, they're located throughout different areas and spread out within the city of El Paso. So looking to the future, one of the items with being federally funded is we have to have a plan in place. So that means our MTP. That's different from what the city, that acronym, you've heard our planning department use that. When I speak of the MTP, it's the Metropolitan Transportation Plan. And this is our 4-year long-range plan. So these are projects that we put into the future. They're not yet funded, but we want to make sure that the federal government is aware. And so that in the UTP, which is a 10-year forecast of cash available, we make sure that these are programmed and we get them into the queuing for them to be funded. And we look at, how do these projects meet our national goals, our congestion management process strategies, project systems, how are they labeled? Do they connect to the national highway system, which would be, I-10? Do they provide connectivity? How can we schedule them within a financially constrained budget to make sure that they happen? So we made sure, like I said, we don't want to be in a silo. So we made sure to meet with International Bridges, Streets and Maintenance, our community development, who they often, you're familiar with the NIP programs that they do with their CDBG funding. So we want to make sure that they're aware of projects that we're planning and vice versa, in addition to our planning department. Sometimes they see areas that the developers are going to start in, and we want to make sure that we have the proper connectivity. So the first round, this is just a quick schedule. It's a long process. We have already submitted projects to the MPO so that they can review. They're going to score them based on the criteria that I made mention of that was in that green block. It will be brought to TPAC. I sit on that advisory committee. We review, we make recommendations, and then Dr. Morgan sits on TPB, that's a policy board. They will approve the final list. So like I said, sorry, this was last presentation is when I presented to council of our approved list, and this deadline has since passed. So we've provided this to the MPO, and they are currently reviewing those projects. So if you look at, currently we're under the 2045, that is our operating long range plan. So these are all the projects that are listed within that plan. So specifically to District 4 and what we presented, we were working with the representative in his office and really wanted to see the need. You know, one of the items that I was thinking, I was like, oh, we got to get Rushing. Rushing is an awful state of repair. And then we did our checks and balances and streets and maintenance. It was like, don't worry about that. It's on the books. So if some of you have noticed, they have already started the reconstruction, and I believe they're working from Sun Valley on to finish that resurfacing project. So in knowing that, we were able to say, okay, what is the next corridor that is vital to the Northeast and is in need of repair? So the projects that we have submitted are the Sun Valley reconstruction from Gateway North to Kenworthy, and then also you'll see that we're continuing that up from Rushing Road to Dyer. And so you're thinking, Yvette, why did you submit? There's a middle section, right? You missed that. Nope, we're working with streets and maintenance, and it's already on their books. So that's one of the ways that, you know, we don't want to work in a silo. Make sure we know what everyone's doing so we can really take opportunity of the funding resources that are out there. And also, one of the things that we really want to take advantage of is make sure that we have an ongoing list of projects. So as I meet with the representative, you know, sometimes projects won't always make it onto the long range list. Then we'll keep it on the list. We'll make sure, okay, we'll hit it next time. Or if I can't fund it, can Capital Improvements Department get it on their list? Can Streets and Maintenance get it on resurfacing? So we have different buckets of funding, and we need to make sure that we fit it into the correct bucket so that the needs are addressed. Because one thing, you know, I'll tell you guys, and you know, we have more needs than we have financial funding. So let's be strategic. Let's make sure we put it in that correct bucket. So for the long range plan, we were able to recommend at least 2 to 3 projects within each district. So for District 4 was the reconstruction of Sun Valley. These are not yet approved. Like I said, the MPO is looking at it. They'll bring it back to TPAC, and then later the policy board will vote. So again, with the acronyms, Transportation Improvement Program. What you'll hear with the federal program is the TIP. TIP means my 2-year plan, and what's already in the TIP is funded. So if we look at District 4, I wish I could see your expressions. I hope there's cheers and, you know, going on in the background, but we got it, guys. Sean Haggerty, it was pushed out in the long range plan. We've moved that up. It's now a 2023 project. There is hope in sight. We're going to get this done. So one of the things in partnership is TxDOT is actually going to do the design for us. So that also helps to leverage our time schedule because they're running it through their process. You know, when you run something through your own process, there's not that many obstacles. So we're hoping that this would be a better partnership to have them do the design. But don't worry, we will be included. Water utilities will be included. And we're hoping to start design on this project by the end of this year to let by late 22, maybe start construction in 23. So that's a really great news. That's a connection that is long overdue. It has been needed. So really excited to report that for this district. Railroad Drive, widening and reconstruction. This project is also within the long range plan, and it's slated for 2026. So the limits are from Loop 375, you see out to Shrub Oak Drive. And then this has not yet been funded, but this is good news. There are different categories when you look in federal funding. So currently with it's called Category 6, and it's specifically set aside for bridges. So we are doing Alabama, Yarborough, Delta, and Davis. Those just recently went out to construction. We'll soon be looking at Texas, Piedras, and Rayner. And then TxDOT said, you know what more can we put on the books? And so we looked to see which had the lowest ratings, which projects, needed to be done. And so for District 4, we're recommending Holland Street. This is, if you see on the lower, to give you kind of a context, it's important, it's right off of Hondo Pass. So Holland Street has a bridge. I know you might not classify that as a bridge, but it's covering a storm system. So it qualifies, and it qualifies for federal monies. So Holland Streets and Alp Streets are two that we recommended within District 4. Those have barely gone in front of TxDOT El Paso. It still needs to be carried on to TxDOT Austin. So we'll keep you guys informed should we get additional funding for these two projects. And with that, I will open it up to questions. I hope I didn't go too fast, but I didn't want to belabor the presentation. So thank you all for your time.
Yeah, thank you, Yvette. That was a great presentation. As you guys can see, there's a lot of work going on. Some 2 years, almost 3 years ago, Lindsay and I, we did some serious homework and some serious research about the Sean Haggerty connection, or what everyone refers to as Angora Loop. And, we presented it to council. We shocked a lot of people, but we initially, and I think Yvette can attest to this, she made reference that it was on their long range plan, which is pushed all the way out to 2045. But because of our research, because of our committed staff, because of Yvette and me getting on the MPO so I can have better oversight of what's going on, we were able to leverage all of this talent. It wasn't that people didn't want to do it, but, like I said, politicians had politicked on this, dangling that carrot, as you will, in front of Northeast residents for, what was it, Lindsay, 29 years?
Yeah, at the time it was 27 years, which is older than me, FYI.
Yeah, which is older than Lindsay, FYI, but people would go and vote for them for this. I just want you guys to know I didn't run on that as a platform, but when I identified it as something that was important for the community, we got right on it. And it took us, thanks to Yvette and her knowledge and her ability, and Sam Rodriguez, the city engineer, and even Tommy Gonzalez, realizing that the Northeast has a representative that actually knows what he's trying to accomplish out here. We were able to get this thing moved from 2045 to 2023, and it had zero funding attached to it before we started working on this initiative. And just so you know, the funding on that project is $24 million of federal money that we were able to isolate, find through grants and through Yvette's due diligence. And like she said, everybody should be jumping for joy, because not only did we identify it as a problem, we got it fixed, and we identified the money for it, federal dollars, not increasing your taxes, and getting the job done. So as you can see, there's a lot of really hard things that are transpiring in the Northeast. So with that, let's go ahead and open it up for questions to Yvette. Thank you. Questions, comments, anyone?
Again, if you're on the phone and have a question, *6 to unmute yourself.
Quad group tonight. What's going on?
Well, I'll just add, since if anybody has to speak, just cut me off. But I just wanted you all to know that the Sean Haggerty extension is critical. One of the things that we found in our research that you guys will probably, one, laugh at, and then two, be annoyed at, is that because this 0.02 mile stretch of road is not connected, there's a school on both sides of it. So there's literally elementary schools within less than half a mile of each other because the road is not connected. There's also a fire station that was built. Instead of building the road out, they built a new fire station. So now there's two fire stations very, very close to each other. And these were moves that were made by the city years ago, when this connection probably would have been a lot cheaper to construct, but instead they decided to go the more expensive route at the time and build a fire station. So that just shows how critical this I can't emphasize enough, 0.02 miles of road is. And so getting the federal dollars for that is something that probably nobody expected, but we're so happy to have it. It's going to save commuters. It's going to increase public safety. Right now, if you're at the home that's at the very end of Sean Haggerty and you want to get to the home that's on the other end of Sean Haggerty where it's not connected, it's 4 miles one way and 7 miles the other way.
Right.
Unless you want to go through the desert, which you can't do that. That's illegal. Don't do that. So I just want everybody to understand, if you don't live in that area or have never seen that, how critical this infrastructure is going to be. And I think, to sit here and say that the project is 100% funded and we're good to go, that's something that doesn't happen very often. So you all should be jumping for joy. Yvette was not kidding when she said we should all be having a party right now. So I just want you to understand the magnitude of what this project is going to do for Northeast.
The economic development of our community and the growth is going to be phenomenal.
I think Kim raised her hand. Did you want to say something, Kim?
Yeah, Yvette, will the Montana BTS Rapid Transit, will it, I heard it was going to go to the airport. Is that still on the docket?
Yes, ma'am, it is. The airport will have a station right by the Conrack is where it's proposed to be constructed. Yes.
That's what I thought. Okay, thank you.
Comment for Sam.
So again?
Yeah. Can I call you on your cell phone sometime?
Yes, sir. Anytime.
Okay. I got it. I got your number, but I got a couple things I'd like to ask you about.
That'll be fine, sir. Hit me up tomorrow.
Okay. I get up at 5. What time you get up?
Oh, please don't call me at 5. I love the Northeast, but dang.
Okay, yeah, I'll call you sometime.
Sometime in the, late morning, mid morning, will be fine.
Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sir. Any other questions, comments? You guys are quiet tonight. Lindsay, how many people on this call?
Right now, we are at 21.
Come on, guys. 21 of you out there.
Representative, they're still in shock with the Sean Haggerty and Angora Loop information, I think. But honestly, I just really would like to close that. It truly is, being a born and raised El Pasoan, it definitely is an honor to serve you guys. And I just thank you for the opportunity. And I have a really good group. I wish you guys could meet them all personally, but they definitely bring joy every day because they're excited. They're chasing it. They want to provide that exceptional project to the community of El Paso. So I just thank you for the opportunity to allow me to do this.
Well, it's my pleasure, and I'm glad they realized talent down there. Congratulations on the promotion. And I appreciate everything that you do for us. I'm not sure what side of town you grew up on, being a lifelong El Pasoan, but the commitment that you've shown to the Northeast in the 3 years that I've been there has just been phenomenal, and I'm very proud of all of you young, talented folks that gave El Paso a chance and didn't leave here like so many do, because we need to be able to retain the best of the best in order to get this done. Lindsay, as you guys know, is from, she's a lifelong El Pasoan, which shocked the heck out of me when I found out. I was like, so where are you from? She was like, huh? El Paso. I mean, like, where are you from? She's like, El Paso. So you guys are starting, we're starting to retain the talent that this community deserves, because, we've been improving the quality of place and the quality of life. And this Angora Loop extension, 3 years ago, guys, we didn't have $25 million to build this project. 3 years ago, this project wasn't even a blip on our radar. But because it is something that is important to the community, we went out there, we worked, we did our homework, we did the long days, the long nights. Folks like Yvette, she was like, hey, let me see what I can do to get creative to find you some money, federal dollars, and see if any of these meet the criteria. Guys, like I said, you guys are our eyes and our ears for the community. And if you share with us what your true concerns are, and because I actually care about this, and I was fortunate enough to find a talented person like Lindsay, who found us another talented person in Angela, we get the job done. We don't sit on our thumbs, guys. So I couldn't do it without the two of them. And I just want to thank both of you for all the hard work you're doing. And we look forward to continue to serve this community for the next 4 years.
Oh, that was really nice. I do.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you, Sam. That was really nice. I do want to add, I got a text from somebody that's on the thing. I guess they're a little shy. So they were asking why it wasn't built, because years ago, there was supposedly $10 million for Sean Haggerty. And I don't know that there was ever money put aside. We never found that in our research. So what I would tell you is you'll have to go back and ask the leadership that was in place back then. I don't know what was in there. All I can tell you is it's done now. So I don't know what was going on years ago. I was still in high school. So I don't know. But I know. But I don't know why it wasn't done years ago. There was plenty of opportunity for the last 27 years to get it done. And it's unfortunate that it wasn't, but we're not going to let that go on any longer. We're not trying to win a Guinness Book of World Records for whose constituents can suffer the longest. We're not about that.
No, definitely ain't about that. Good point. Good point. Anyone else have any comments or questions? There's been first of all, the presentation was fantastic. And now, like I said, folks, if you're not participating in these types of meetings, you're not participating in the community meetings that we're having every Friday at Denny's and every Wednesday, third week of every month. If you're not participating, then you're left to your own devices to wonder what's going on, and especially if you're not following us with the newsletter. We give so many opportunities to keep the community informed, but yet and still, all of you all know, especially you, Kim, we've talked about it a million times. There's so many people saying this and that isn't happening, and it's not true. As you can see on the screen, there's 3 people that make up the office of District 4. 3, that's it. And one of those is only a part-timer, and we're getting it done. So we get it done because we care about this community, and we're going to continue to work hard for it. I can't believe you guys are so quiet tonight. What's going on? Go ahead.
Oh, I'm sorry, Kim. You raised your hand again. I'm sorry.
Okay. Before COVID, there were these 2 big green signs at the corner of South Gateway and 50 and Macomb saying rezoning coming. And I had heard it was going to be a planned community or something, and then I've noticed that those signs are gone.
The signs are gone because it first of all, we have to put out the public notice, which we did. We had public hearings, which we did. We effectuated the land swap for it. So what you're talking about is 2,400 acres. It's called Franklin Mountain Estates.
Yep.
It is going to be built north of Macombs in 54. So 54, like you headed out to Mesquite Hills, where the golf course is, that whole area is about to become a development. What you guys see over at West Town Mall off of I-10, pretty much going to see that in real life action here. It's a master planned community. It's the only master planned community that the first in El Paso's history, because we have national developers coming into our area to build this. And it's being modeled after something that it's in San Antonio. So you're going to have homes on the golf course, which I'm buying one, I'm sure. Homes on the golf course. You're going to have shopping out there. You're going to have new schools out there. You're going to have businesses out there. And like I said, if you really want a preview as to what's going on, take a look at what happened at West Town Mall. But picture that with housing and other types of development and new schools.
Okay, so it is going to happen, because one day the signs are gone and I was like, oh no, because I heard it was going to back up against Painted Dunes, and then it was going to go like past where the Dollar Tree and the rehab center is, that it was going to be back there too. And so all of us, you know, in our neighborhood, we're like, oh, this is going to be like awesome. We can just go across the highway and shop, because my tax dollars, unfortunately, when I want to spend money, I go to Home Goods over at Westtown Place. Sorry, Sam.
I got you. But the good thing about that is also that area that between, like just picture driving on Marcus Uribe all the way to the end where it deads in. And
Okay.
then there's a wall and then a desert that goes towards Macomb. All that's going to
Yes.
get built into, and that roadway is going to be opened up. So we're going to have a
Okay.
lot more trafficability in our area, a lot more shopping to do over
Okay.
here. And that master plan is being developed as we speak.
It is.
Yeah,
Okay.
probably
So I
talk.
will let my HOA know that
Oh, yeah.
through, because right now we're doing Zoom meetings with our neighborhood. And also I noticed that they're doing road work right now. They're paving like on the way to Painted Dunes. They've
It's
got
done.
all the, yeah, so that probably has something to do with it too as well.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, and if you want to see a preview of that development, it's on our Facebook page. You have to scroll a little bit down, but it is on there, and it's also on our website. So you can go and see that. It was actually the last community meeting before COVID. We had the developer out here at one of our community meetings, and they did a little preview of it and
It's one
everything.
of the foster kids, right?
Paul Foster.
It's
Dad-
okay. So
He
it's Daddy
owns it, but
Foster.
he's not developing it. So he's hired a nationally accredited developer to develop it. So he just
What's
owns
the
the land.
name of the community, Sam?
Franklin Mountain Estates.
Awesome. So it is going to happen. We're so excited then, because then we'll be the closest.
Within a year, you guys are going to see shovels in the dirt.
Okay. Okay, great. Thank you so much, you guys. That's fantastic news.
You're welcome. Property values.
Just so you know, the reasons the signs are gone is because the zoning was approved. So since the zoning was approved, the signs are taken down. So it's not that the project isn't there anymore. It's just that portion of it is gone. So you'll probably see a new sign coming up that has like the new home coming soon or something like that.
And
You'll
the
see.
picture and like, you know, what it,
Yeah.
and all of that good stuff. So it'll have the cute little roundabouts and all of that nice stuff and everything.
This is why it's so important for folks to participate in these type of meetings. You know, if you have a rep that's actually out here doing these types of meetings, it's important for the community to get involved, because, you know, a lot of folks, I don't know how people process how fast government works, but it's almost like, well, you said you're going to do this, it didn't happen. We had to go through first of all, we have to effectuate the deal. Second of all, we have to get it rezoned. Then we have to get a developer. Then we have to do this. But this is happening. It's just like, I'm going to be honest with you. The reason Angora Loop never got any love, because people lied to you. They just told you what you wanted to hear, but then knew they'd never have to follow up on it. I figured it out in less than 3 years, guys. 3
Yeah, it's
years.
just like working with the Federal Transportation Administration, you know, with Sun Metro, that when I worked, you know, we got all that money and that picture taken with, you know, the money coming in, but that money doesn't just happen overnight to go break ground and have it open. And constituents didn't understand, like down in the Alameda area, why, you know, because there were issues with the Brios, you know, you and I both know, that kind of pushed it back, the grand openings. And so, yeah, I learned it kind of is like at a snail's pace. It's a marathon and all of that. So
share that with our fellow Northeast.
well, I've told everybody in my neighborhood, I'm like, you guys don't understand all the paperwork that has to be documented, has to be stamped through so many city entities and federal entities, and everything has to be checked off and even double checked because stuff is always amended. So yeah, but thanks. That's great. That's so awesome to hear that it is coming. But I did hear in El Paso Inc. in whispers that maybe a Costco is maybe thinking of looking at the Northeast. No, I just read that.
I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to burst your bubble because I heard the same rumor, and
Okay.
it's not happening. Not right now.
Aww.
Sorry, guys. I'm not going to let you believe that something like that is going to happen. It's not happening. I know that for a fact. Talked to the Costco reps personally on a conversation with our city manager. So it was
okay.
a
We love
rumor.
our Sams.
For now, we'll see what we get once we get that 2,400 acres developed.
Yeah. Yeah.
All right.
We still love our Sams. I think it's the cleanest and easiest to get to, and they always have everything in stock.
That's
They have Lysol, FYI, if anybody needs it.
They have
Northeast
lots of hand
they have Lysol.
sanitizer too.
All right, Lindsay, you want to go ahead and wrap it up?
I believe so. I don't think anybody else wants to speak or has a question or anything. But Beth, did you want to say something? Let me unmute you. Hold on. Oh wait, I can't unmute you. You're gonna have to unmute yourself at the bottom.
The microphone, click it.
Mm-hmm.
How about that?
Yeah.
Oh,
Got it?
Yep.
perfect.
Am I there?
Got you, Beth. Go for it.
All right. Yeah, so I'm kind of looking forward to Home Depot too, since Sam, you're pulling some strings and some pockets, and
Yes,
I love Home Depot.
we'll be working on
But
that.
I want to tell you all that I told Sam he can go ahead and put his sign in my yard, and since he's running for that great office, and I go down Railroad to go to my office. And there's, they're doing beautiful work on the islands. Oh my gosh, they got these rock fences up and lights are going up and it's absolutely awesome. But there's one fence that's there on Railroad that's just driving me crazy. And I called Sam. I even complained to the contractor. I said, that fence is wrong. And he looked at me like I didn't know what in the world I was talking about. So I called Sam and I told him about it. I sent him pictures. I said, this is not right. And he's looking into it. Today I stopped and talked to the construction workers that was right there where that fence was. And they told me, oh no, ma'am, it's not right. We can't tear it down. We can't do this. Well, I complained to Sam Morgan and I'm sure something's going to get accomplished. Oh, well, ma'am, this is what we're looking at trying to do. So it does help to bitch a little, but sometimes they look at me like, vieja, no sabes qué está diciendo.
I love you, Beth.
But
You're
anyway,
We
amazing.
love you guys. I love the Northeast, my friends. We get involved.
So how often do you do these?
I'm sorry.
How often do you do these remotes thing?
So we're gonna do them every week.
Every week?
Yes, ma'am. So we're probably gonna stick with a Thursday. I think that worked a little better for people. We used to do them Wednesdays. So Thursdays at 5 p.m. every week we'll be here.
Even though we do have some recommendations from some of you all that, we don't need to do it every week, but we do because everyone's not going to make it, if we only do it every other week. So we're going to give everyone an opportunity to hear us. Okay.
Yeah, especially.
And thank you for
that's
sharing
great.
that.
Hey, Sam?
Yes, was somebody trying to say something?
Yeah, I was asking Sam, what's this newsletter? I never saw one.
So we send it out via email. But if you would like to get it in the mail, we can. I'm sure Angela has your address. We're gonna send out one here probably in the next 1 to 2 weeks, so we can mail you one.
Yeah, mail, because I don't have none of that modern stuff. I got a TV with an inside antenna. That's it.
Yes, sir. We'll make sure that we have your address and we'll mail you the one that has all the most important information. But so for those of you that don't have internet capabilities, we're happy to mail you a newsletter. It's almost done. It's going to be going out here soon. But if you do have internet capabilities, please sign up. We send out a weekly newsletter that's full of information. We get complaints that it's too long, but I'm sorry, I'm not going to make it shorter because I feel like you all should have the information. So yeah, if you're one of those people that needs it mailed to you, please call us and let us know because we're happy to do that. But we're going to mail it all at once. So if you could get that to us.
Mail's the only way.
Perfect.
For me.
We sure we got his address, Lens?
I think, Angela, do you have it? Yeah, Angela has it.
Got it. All right.
Your newsletter just hit my email, so the distribution list just hit as we were on here. It says September 3rd, so it just hit, Lindsay.
Yes, so for those of you that don't know, we send them out quite frequently, so you'll probably get tired of hearing from us, but I'd rather you get tired of hearing from us than not hear from us at all. So we send out every Tuesday, we send out our bulletin, which is just a very short kind of recap of things that have happened between Thursday and Tuesday. And then on Thursday, we send out our full-blown newsletter, which just has anything and everything you could ever imagine in it. So because we want to keep you all informed. And then recently, you guys have been getting special edition ones from us where I've been just reminding you all about our community meetings. You probably got 2 today because I sent you one at around 11:30 saying, hey, don't forget to join us tonight. And then you got our newsletter around 4:30, 5 o'clock when we sent it. So sorry if we're like spamming your mailbox, but we just want you all to be informed as much as possible. So please take advantage of it, read it. And we get complaints that it's too long, but it is in sections. And I was once told by somebody that I was unprofessional for saying this, but I'm going to say it still. It's in sections. So if there's a section you don't care about, you can skip on past it and go to the section that you care about. We make sure to put headers on it. So because there's a veteran section, there's an animal abuse section, there's an economic development section, there's an EPISD section. So if you don't care about EPISD, scroll on by and go down to the veterans section. And I don't know why I was told I was unprofessional for that, but I apologize if I offend anybody with that. I just want you all to be informed and have the information. And on that, if there's anything you want added, if you have right now, probably not so much because of COVID, but if you're a part of an organization that's doing something, we have a community section. We're happy to include your information to let people know that there's a X, Y, and Z event going on, or if maybe you're trying to raise money for something for like an organization, we're happy to put those flyers in there, but those flyers have to come from you. We cannot create anything for you. So just send it to us and we'll put it in the newsletter. Sorry, I went on a little rant there, but
She's still mad that someone says she's unprofessional. You're so professional. Yeah, no, Lindsay's one of the most professional people I've met, and we in the Northeast are lucky to have her and Angela on our team. So keep up the good work, ladies. You're crushing it.
Yeah, I second that because I have a lot of friends who live on the west side and east side, and they haven't heard hardly zip from their reps. They really don't know what's going on, and I'll sit there and tell them, about stuff, and they're like, "We don't get that. We don't even get phone calls returned." So I can tell you that we are very lucky because I've, talked to the people who live on the rich 79912 up on the mountain, and they they get nothing, or the upper valley, they're just kind of out there floating. So I can tell you that we get our phone calls returned. Lindsay, I blow up her email because, we deal so much with the park right here back up against our neighborhood and crime and stuff. So she and I are on a pretty much text basis. And then of course, Sam knows, my background. So, I kind of blows his email up too. But I do want to say as a constituent that since we've had all of this park issues and everything, that you guys have always, you even came out here and took pictures and saw stuff happen that, we kept telling, what was going on. So everybody is really lucky to have this team, because the other districts, they just show up for ribbon cuttings.
Thank you, Karen. We appreciate it. We're going to keep working hard for the community. That's what we're here for. We're not here for a holiday. All right, guys, it looks like we're losing a couple, but we are at an hour and a half. We're going to go ahead and wrap this up. We're going to give you guys another opportunity next week. So if you see something out there, you hear something out there, reach out to the office, let us know what's going on, and we'll keep on knocking down those 50-meter targets for you guys. Remind your family and your friends that the most important election of our lifetime is coming up, period. I don't care who you vote for, but you got to vote. It's as simple as that. Make sure your family and friends are registered to vote. We got a presidential election going on. We got some gubernatorial races. We got some state rep races. Obviously, you have the mayoral race, and the one that everyone just loves to hate. You have city council races. Okay, so with that being said, make sure your family, your friends, and your 18 and older kids, nephews, nieces, they're registered to vote because everything's on the line here. You know, you got a real opportunity here to see national changes, state level changes, and what we should be always most concerned about, local races. The municipality impacts your lives so much more than national and state politics. Okay, this is where we live, this is where you work, and this is how we get it done. So like I said, there's an election coming up. I'm not going to pander to you guys for anything because you already know what you need to do. And remember Sam Morgan, all right? And let's get this thing done.
Cool. All right. Thank you all for joining us. And we'll obviously same place, same time next week, but I'll be sure to post. It'll be a new link, new conference ID number. So we'll send that out in our newsletter. It's on Facebook. It's on Instagram. You have it everywhere you go. So if you know where to find us if you need help getting access to it. And we'll see you all next week.
Bye, guys. Thanks for tuning in.
Bye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.